Oh, let's hear for Dario. Very good, Dario. We like those Peter Pan, I'm flying shots. You guys were talking about teens. We have 4 wonderful panelists. Guys, let's talk about the fact that in California there is a penal code that is thinking of charging the parents of troubled kids with 6 months in jail or $1,000 if they can prove that that parent's negligence is what got the kid into trouble. What do you think about that? That your parents are legally responsible. Do you think that should happen?
In some cases, yes.
Yeah?
Because the parents neglecting their children are the ones that are psychologically messing them up.
Oh, really?
Making them do what they're doing.
I think it'll be an incentive to the parents to pay more attention to their kids and to try and control them more.
But what about the argument where the parent is sleeping and the kid takes the car without the parent knowing, they run into somebody and kill them? Should the parent go to jail? I agree with the law to an extent, but there are exceptions to the rule.
You know, and there's such a thing as, I hate to say this, but there are just some personalities that are thrill seekers. My cousin Lalo could not stay out of trouble. You know, he just had to be siempre andando pa allá en la calle, and the parents, my tios, would lock him up, and Lalo would get out. Or the second he got out, trouble happened. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what happened to you, Lupe. It's a tragedy, actually.
Yes, actually, it was a tragedy. I was the kind of parent that was very strict with my kids. My kids were not allowed to go anywhere with friends. They were not allowed to go to sleepovers. If somebody wanted to come and stay at my house, they could stay at my house. They were more than welcome. But I was always close to my kids. I did work, and I had very good babysitters. But my son, Edward, when he reached the age of 12, all of a sudden, he just got very incorrigible. He would not listen to me. I think because I am an American. I was born in California, and my husband was born in Mexico. My husband kept saying, oh, he's passing through a phase, Lupe, just leave the boy alone.
And you let him go out once, you said?
I let him go out one time. My husband was at work. He was working overtime, so I let Edward go out. I thought he was going to be within a few blocks of me because my kids weren't allowed to go anywhere. He got in a car with some friends from school. It turned out the truck was stolen, and they got chased by the police down the San Diego freeway at 100 miles an hour. The boy lost control of the car, the truck, excuse me. He went over the cliff, and Edward wound up in a coma. He woke up out of the coma 6 weeks later. He couldn't walk, he couldn't talk, he couldn't eat. He was fed through a tube. He was
just
in
from
Pampers.
one joyride.
One joyride, just listening to his friends. Well, at the end, where were his friends? There was no friends. No friends came to see him. Before the phone would ring off the hook, he was on the phone. He wanted to be with his friends, and no, they would come to the house. They would try to take him out. I'd say no, absolutely not. And he still wound up like this. Here it is 11 years later, and he has no life.
Oh.
He has no life.
I want to talk a little bit about society and
Yes.
and how much is society to blame for this type of action. You guys, you know, on TV we see them talk to your kids, don't smoke. Never have you guys get so many messages, you know, about safe sex, so many messages, yet there's more experimentation than ever. Do you guys feel that you're a more rebellious generation?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
You really don't think so?
No.
I think they're more out of control than anything.
We see, we think that your generation, perhaps not you girls. I mean, you girls
Right. No, I
are
understand.
lovely girls who both dress in black. But we're talking about, you know, we see a lot more danger going on in society today.
We're seeing kids now that at the age of 11, 12 years old are committing more crimes and getting involved in more things than, say, 5 years ago. You know, statistically speaking, 5 years ago, we had a higher crime rate, but it was older kids or older adults. Now we're seeing younger people getting more and more involved with violent crime. And it has to do a lot with what they're allowed to see on television. I mean, I won't let my kids watch anything that I won't approve of.
I agree, but you guys want to know something? In Europe, they see the same shows, they're translated. They don't have access to guns. The kids in Europe don't have cars for the most part because they have public transportation. It's a different society. So that's something that we have to factor into, because I know they always blame TV. Don't blame Cafe California.
We're spoiling our kids, bottom line.
I want to talk a little about Friday Night Live, Marissa, because you said that you see a hypocrisy in our society today.
Right.
In what way are we hypocritical?
I think there's a lot of hypocrisy in our society. You know, just you talk about the messages that kids get bombarded with every day, and it's everywhere. I mean,
Don't smoke, don't drink.
don't smoke, don't drink. But then, you know,
Go to
2
Old
blocks
Navy.
from the school, there's a huge Marlboro billboard up. There's big, like, they got this billboards right behind the playground walls. I mean, yeah, you take your kids to the playground because you love them and you tell them how much you love them. But then while they're at the playground, they see the big picture, the couple drinking and how much fun it is to drink and party.
Then kids go to liquor stores. There's signs saying, "Oh, we're not going to sell liquor or cigarettes to you if you're not 18 or 21 with an ID."
And who did an experiment?
We both did.
We both
Tell us
did.
about it
we
real
both
quick.
participated in it.
We went, every single store we went to had that sign, and they still sold to us. We even got offered drugs to us, asking for tobacco. They're
Really?
offering drugs. I was upset. I went into this pharmacy with a security guard. I was hoping, I was wishing that the security guard was going to yell at me for asking for tobacco. But no, he just stood there watching the girl put it in a bag with matches, and here's your receipt, and here's your cigarettes.
So do you think, I mean, it's society, do we sell out? We tell our
We're too
kids one
politically
thing,
correct.
and then we push
We don't want
sex
to take.
at them,
We want
skinny girls.
do not want
you
to
know.
take any type of action against young people because we're afraid of what's going to happen, what they could say, and that's in our entire society right now. We are so PC that it's disgusting. We don't want to upset someone because it will reflect on us.
I think the action has to be on everyone. I mean, you know, people say that what we need is litigation, what we need are more laws. There's laws in LA now that you're not supposed to sell to under 18-year-olds. No one in the city of Los Angeles has ever been prosecuted for that, for selling to
Never?
a minor. Never, not once. That law is old.
That's a terrible.
Not once.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's just not enforced. So if we have other laws, I mean, what's to say that those would be more enforced?
There's a term that kids use when they don't go to school, when they
Playing hooky.
well.
Ditching.
Ditching?
No, there's
Ditching.
another thing they call it. And when they do this, they go to someone's house and there's alcohol made available. Maybe that was left there by the parents, but one of these kids is going out there and buying it
Oh, we call
because,
that senior year.
because it's so readily available.
Exactly, it's so readily available. And even if you can't buy it in the store, there's adults who allow you to shoulder tap. It's a term that we use. You go, you tap someone on the shoulder. Would you mind buying me alcohol? I'll give you $3 or $4, you know?
But the problem is, too, that here in LA, there's a liquor store in every single corner. If you go to Northridge or to a white-based community, it takes them like a half an hour driving around town to actually find a liquor store.
That's exactly what we did. We went in the community of East Los Angeles. We got different districts, and that's how we did it. In East Los Angeles, we got, out of 53 surveys that we did, 24 were willing to sell to minors, under 17,
But I think
14 years
one
old,
of the
15
problems
years
too
old.
is that I totally agree with everything you're saying, except when law enforcement tries to close these places down, the first thing they scream is racism and discrimination.
Right.
They're the ones that, the owners and stuff. I totally agree with you. They're selling out our teenagers for the buck, but how forceful could the law be when people are screaming discrimination?
And I'm screaming. We'll be right back with Cafe California. That was a very interesting. Was this part of your curriculum or?
That was part of the course.
Part of
It was
the
set
class?
up by the class.